All right, guys, welcome to tonight's training. Let me take this auto blur off because that thing gets on my last nerve. Not auto blur, that auto adjust where it be like going in and then going out. That gets on my nerves. Anyway, all right, guys, welcome to tonight's pop-up tax training. I am Brianna Anderson. Super excited to be on with you guys tonight. We are almost at tax season. Actually, we're in it. I tell people we in it. Those who start early are those who win. Don't wait till January to start marketing, to start promoting, to start getting things together. Start right now. It is so important. How you start is really going to be an indication of how you finish, and we love to finish strong. So tonight I am hosting this pop-up training. I may do some more pop-ups because I want to make sure we're covering everything that needs to be covered when it comes to filing taxes. For those of you who are office owners, and for those of you who are tax preparers, everything that I say tonight will work for both of you guys. All right. For those of you who are office owners, I heard some water. Relay this information to your preparers and also for yourself. Right now, we're seeing, you probably have heard, I talked about it a little bit the other day. The IRS is increasing everything. They got a huge budget increase, and they brought in auditors, AI technology, everything. So right now, over 500,000 plus letters have went out. They're auditing 2024 tax season. So we don't have this same situation in 2025. I am just taking the precautions, and I'm telling everybody who are on the sound of my voice, if I were you, to definitely take the precautions to secure your office with this information here, so you won't have to go back and do like anything extra, all that other stuff. You really won't have to do that if you take the proper precautions right now. Okay, so tonight let's start with of course, we talked about due diligence last week, but documentation is going to be everything. You guys are going to really hear me talk about that a lot. Documentation is going to be everything. You're going to need documentation, every single documentation. And I actually put in our Facebook group under the files tab, I'll probably share my screen a little bit tonight. We do have an intake sheet there that you can copy, or you can create your own. Just remember to be very careful if you're asking for a social security numbers and things like that, and you're saving things on your home computer. What me and Cedric are doing this year is we're putting all of our, if we're getting any information outside of the software, we're actually going to be using our USBs. Okay, we're going to be using USB to import everything on there and keep these in a very, very safe place. Okay, but documentation is going to be everything. We have to verify if the system automatically qualifies them for head of household credit, earned income credit, child tax credit, additional child tax credit, then we're going to have to verify that information. And tonight I'm going to go over, and maybe I'll put an intake sheet. Yeah, that's what I do. I put like a form, a checklist form, so that for each credit, you guys will know what type of documentation you need. And this is only when you're filing their return, not if you're doing an estimate. Okay. Right now, you want to ensure that you stay 100% compliant. Okay. So, what this means is we are not adding any businesses for people who don't have businesses. Okay. We're not offsetting anything. If a taxpayer is married and they live together, they have to file married filing joint, married filing separate. Okay. Also, let's say, for instance, if a person comes to you and they say, hey, I want to file my child, but I don't have his social security card. I haven't been able to find it, haven't had time to order one. They're going to have to order one, okay? Because you want to make sure yourself, that you are 100% covered. And so there comes also at the end of the return, when you're processing a return, you'll come to the end of the return where it's going to ask you, hey, due diligence questions. Did you ask this question? Did you ask this question? It's going to be a lot of yes and no's. And remember, you have to take your time when you get to those due diligence questions. For those of you who have been on the software training with our industry leaders, you will see that one question wrong could absolutely mess you up. And so when you're doing those yes and no, make sure you're taking your time. And when it's time for you to write your due diligence note, you want to know everything. Okay, let me see. I tried to log in, but it's not working. Okay. Hmm. Mm-mm. Okay, let's see. Hold on one second, guys. Let me see something here. Zaria, you don't talk like that. Hold on, guys. Somebody's trying to log in. Hmm. All right, guys. My bad. I'm sorry. We'll get into that in a minute. Um, when you get to your due diligence notes, I'm going to tell you guys the note section is how why preparers right now are being audited because of the note section. We're not doing in-depth notes. Every return has to have its own in-depth note, meaning we have to ask the right questions. Who lived in the home? Who paid more than all of the household costs? Did they have a business? Did they operate their business 12 months? How are they keeping business records? If they're filing, let's say somebody else's child who not theirs, do they have permission to file the child? What is the parent's name? We have to document all things. They live in a house by themselves, or they are single, filing 3 kids. They have not been married within the last year. Like we have to document, document, document. They're like really big on due diligence notes. And so if I were you all, I would go to people say don't use ChatGPT, but ChatGPT is very, very, very smart. I would say, hey, I need you to write me a due diligence outline for, let's say, head of household people, due diligence outline for married filing joint, married filing separate. Why? Now the note is going to be different, but the outline can be the same. Okay. So we want to make sure we remember that. For those of you guys who are pretty new, most of the time when you're filing taxes, your clients are either going to have a W 2, okay, a W 2 or a 1099. And that could be a 1099 NEC or a 1099. You know what? Let's see. Let's log in. That's what we'll do. We'll just log into the system and we'll go from there. Let's see if I log in. I was actually logged in earlier today. Let me do it. Um, also, remember college, if they're trying to apply for anything educational, they have you do want to ask them, hey, are you or anybody that you're filing in school? Are you guys in school? If so, do you have a 1098T form? Child care, if you know they're if they want to get that dependent care, they can absolutely get dependent care by asking for child care statements. We don't have to submit this information to the IRS, but it's good to have it documented. How much did you pay in child care for the year? Was it a summer program? How much did you pay for the summer program for the year? If it's for multiple children, your client will still be able to file multiple children as well for child care, summer camp, babysitter. If somebody personal, they know keeping the children, if they pay them legally, they can file it. Okay. We really never had to have birth certificates, but I am asking for birth certificates this year only to prove relationship. Okay, that's me. I'm asking for birth certificate this year only to prove relationship. I am also asking for a rent, lease, or utility bill. Okay, rent, lease, mortgage, utility bill. Something if they're filing head of household, I need to see something with a letterhead with their name and their address, and it needs to be like rent, mortgage, or utility bill. It can't just be like a random piece of mail coming to their house because it has the address on there. I want to have a qualifying document. All right. Remember, we asked those right questions. Did you receive a refund last year? If not, did you file last year? They say yes, I just didn't get a refund. Is there a reason why? Do you owe the IRS? That's going to all be important. Now, for businesses, we're going to go over a little bit about businesses tonight because most people who do contract work, most people are sole proprietors and they don't even know it. Like they do stuff on the side. They do little things to make money on the side and they don't realize that's 100% a legal business that they can file if they have documentation to prove. So, You always want to ask those questions, especially when it comes to even filing businesses. Okay, this is all your expenses amount, but do you have the receipts to prove this? And you have to be able to see the receipts. Now we have to verbally see receipts before we can file it. We have to verbally see where the income is coming from the business before we can file it. Okay, that is so important. Now, before we get into our income strategy, I do want to show. I am going to share my screen because it is letting me share a little bit. Let's see, Zoom. Okay, so here's the software. And for those of you who haven't been on software training, that industry software training on Tuesdays, Mondays and Tuesdays, or Tuesdays and Wednesdays is one of those. Your system will look like this when you log in. Okay, remember on the left, all of these are our information buttons. If we need to get to all of our client lists, we could just easily click client search. If we want to get back to the main menu, we can easily click main menu. If your client needs to mail their returns in, these are the addresses that they can mail. Here's a consent to use form, a consent to disclose form. You need to make sure your clients have all these forms signed, okay? Consent to use and consent to disclose. Now, usually our information is actually in the software. I'm gonna go in and make sure that it is in the software for this year. Um, Consent to use, and we'll see about that because electronic signatures for me is everything. Now, when you are doing the refund calculator and you're wanting to do an estimate for one of your clients, this is actually where we do the estimates here. Okay. So we go to the refund calculator and you'll see your information should be zero here. This is just an estimate. Make sure you let them know this is not the actual number. This is before any taxes, fees, or it could be before, any credits are added as well. Just like a basic estimate. So let's say that person has had a household. Okay. That person's age, let's say it's 36, they're not blind. Is that taxpayer a dependent? Meaning, can somebody else file them on the taxes? If they're filing their own taxes, then no, nobody should be able to file them. Okay. Do they have an ITIN? No, that just means that they have an international number instead of a social. So we always put no if they don't. And let's say this person got two dependents. Okay. Let's say they have a W 2. And so we're going to say they're a W 2 worker. And let's say on their W 2, it said that they made $34,657 for the year. And let's say federal withholdings was 3627. Right now, we cannot do a state estimate, okay? Huh? Yeah, you can. We cannot do a state estimate right now, so this is only federal. Okay, this right here is only federal. Now we can do the state return because when you're processing taxes, if the state file is open, you will do both state and federal. But right now, for the estimate, it is only for the federal. Okay, and so let's say we put that in. If they had another W-2, let's say we're going to click taxpayer, and let's just say they had another job where they worked and made 45,637. Okay. Let's say they took 4677 out in taxes. Okay. Now, if they had any other compensation, we're not going to put that there because that's compensation from the W-2. If they had like a 1099 or NEC, when we click next, it's going to be like over here in this area. So 1099 income is considered business income. Okay. So if they don't have any interest, dividends, remember this is only an estimate. You can ask them, do you receive any unemployment, any IRA pensions, alimony, social security, things like that? They say no, leave it zero. Let's just say they said, hey, I did do some 1099 work and I made about $1,200, in business profit. So we'll just put that right there, okay? Then we're gonna, as you can see, the refund is already created right now. Right now they're at $2,743 as an estimate, okay? So we're gonna click next. If they had any more deductions, medical expenses, real estate taxes, personal taxes paid, charitable contributions, let's say they gave about not $3,900 to the church for the year. We'll put 3,900 there, and then we're gonna click next, okay? Let's say if they had any student loan interest, these are like adjustments, retirement plan contributions. And remember, these are only estimates. So even if you don't want to ask all of these questions for the estimate, and when you want to wait to really ask these when you get into the return, you can do that as well. But let's say she did pay about $4,600 a year for her children childcare. Okay, for her children childcare. All right. If that's it, we're gonna click next. And right now, as of now, their refund is about $3,042. That is before taxes and fees. That is before other credits are added as well. Okay, so right now, this is all they're looking at right now. And look at that, earned income credit and additional child tax credit is not populated. Why? Because right now their income is 57,000, which is over the earned income credit limit. So they don't qualify for that credit. But let's go back and let's just take some of that income off. Let me see if they qualify now. If we take some of this income off, 34,000. Let's see. Head of household, 36. Let's just say it may not let me do it. It may not be calculated right now. Yep, it's not. It's not. Okay, so that is how you do refund calculator right there, guys. Okay, when you're doing your estimates, if you want to get a rounding number of what a person is going to get. Okay, now, okay, let's see. All right. So here's what your homepage will look like when you get ready to process a new return. Always remember client search. These are the clients that you are already processing. Let's say you submitted somebody and they were rejected. It'll be right here. You're able to click it and you'll be able to see who was rejected and why. Okay. You'll be able to see who was rejected and the rejection code. So right here, boom, rejection code. These are not real people, by the way. Rejection code, IP pin. Okay, IP pin, for instance, that means either they didn't put this prepared, did not put the IP pin in, or the IP pin is invalid. Okay, you want to always ask your clients when you're filing, do you have an identification pin? Okay, super important. So let's do a dummy return real fast. Let's do a dummy return. Social first. Okay. Okay, we'll do a dummy return. We're going to put their name, info in. Sorry, guys. I think somebody's trying to get in the class and they cannot get in, which means I have to stop doing what I'm doing. Okay. So, homepage, first thing is going to be the filing status. If they're single, married, filing joint, married, filing separate, head of household, qualifying surviving spouse, or non-resident alien. So let's just put head of household. Remember, when you're filing, you're gonna have this little wizard, and this wizard is gonna help many of you because don't feel like you'll miss anything because I turned the wizard on for everybody. You literally will have to use it. Means they're gonna ask you yes or no questions because the yes or no questions are gonna determine a lot of things so that nothing is missed. No, never worry if you miss it. The only reason or way you'll miss something is if your client didn't give you the information or documentation. Okay. So was that client considered married December 31st of 2024? This is say 2025, guys, because I'm in the past year. So let's just put no. Was they a U.S. citizen? Yes. Had they ever been married? Let's just say no. Did they pay more than half the cost for keeping up the home for the year? Yes. Did anyone live with them for more than 6 months? Yes. Was the person living with them a citizen or resident of the U.S.? Let's just say yes. Was the person living with them married? No. The person in relationship to you will affect your filing status. Do any of the following describe their relationship? Is it their child, their stepchild, foster child, descendant, sibling, half sibling, step sibling? Let's just say she's filing one child. Some say yes. Are they 18 years older or old or younger at the end of the year? Yes. Did you provide more than half of this person's support? Yes. Is this person a qualifying child for someone other than you? Meaning, can somebody else file this child? So when you're working with your client and they give you a child or dependent to file, if you need to ask them, is somebody else, does anybody else has access to file this child? So I'm gonna put no. That means you have a qualifying person. Is the only reason that you will be able to claim this person as a dependent because of multiple support agreement? No, this is like if they were in court. So based on the answers, what's the filing status? Head of household. Okay. But if you already know your client is head of household, you don't have to do the filing status wizard. You can just click head of household. Okay. And then you click continue. Now let's go ahead and do our person, Ashley Williams. Okay. This is the taxpayer. Okay. She is a chef. Let's go through the questions. Can she be filed by somebody else? Is she over 18 and a full-time student at an eligible institution? Now, this is what you want to ask. Hey, are you in college or any of your children in college? If so, we're going to hit yes. But that's only if she's in college. When you add the children in, this same question will be there for them. Is she blind? Is she deceased? Did she serve in combat? Any of that. If not, we're going to click listen. Taxpayer prefers to receive communication from the IRS in any language other than English. This is something new here, so that they are now starting to like translate a lot. So we just keep all that blank. And let's just go to her address. Okay. Once you put that zip in, it's going to auto-populate. Now, remember, if you use the app, this information will be auto-populated because your client will be filling this stuff in. Okay. So that means if you use the Tax to Go app, which our link is always ready for us January 1st, and you send that link to your client will have the chance to fill out all their personal information, upload all of their documents, and the app is going to give them a code. And how you retrieve this information will show you on the home screen. But if you ever want to pull the information that they've uploaded, you're going to click right here, use the menu, and it'll literally say documents, and you'll click documents and it'll show everything that they uploaded. Okay, it'll show everything that they uploaded. So then we're going to go to next. Okay, and then now we are going to Georgia return. Did your address different from the return last year? That's what you can ask your client. Matter, some of these questions, guys, you can put on your intake form as well if you like. I'm just gonna put no because she's been living at this same address. Okay. All right. Do they have any dependents or qualifying persons? Was there anybody who relied on your client for support if they resided in her home? Let's find out. Let's say yes. Continue. So let's say her son name is Joshua Williams. Date of birth 03/12/2000 and let's say 17. Okay. Social. Okay. Was he a U.S. citizen? Yes. What's the relationship? Very important. We need to have the right relationships. How many months did he live with her? 12. That's her son. Now, is he in college? If so, we would click yes. If not, leave it blank. If he's not disabled, leave it blank. If it is not her dependent, you're going to check here. Meaning, somebody else can claim the child. Okay? Boom. Did the individual make over $5,000 in income? Meaning, did he have a little job on it? Did he have a job? If so, we click that. Okay? If not, we unclick. And we go to next. Now, next question is, do we need to add another child? And if so, we would just click add a dependent or qualifying child. Okay? Super easy. Boom. If it was another one, just click that, add another child. If not, we're going to go to continue. Okay? We're going to go to continue. Now, next page, we are going to get into our federal section, our income section automatically. So as you can see here, there are multiple ways of income. It could be a W-2. Your client can have a 1099-G, a Schedule B, a 1099-R from their retirements, IRAs, 1099 miscellaneous, 1099 NEC. They may have a business, which is a Schedule C. We'll get into that. They may have credit card payment statements, which are 1099-Ks, okay? They may have received alimony or K-1 earnings or gambling debt. Everything your client has is in the system, okay? I don't care what type of form it is. You will never be caught off guard because it's always going to be in the system. Just look at the top of the form, and even if you need to type in 1099, all whatever form you need, you'll be able to click it and go straight to it. But if you're on the income screen, it's all going to be here. So let's just say she got a W-2, okay? And we're going to go through. It's nothing but data entry. The letters that you see here, guys, these are the same letters on the W-2. So you're taking everything from the W-2 at the section that it's in, and you're adding it in, okay? Let's say I'm copying and pasting a dummy W-2, okay? Boom, I got all of the employer information in. And now let's say her wages say she made about 57. Well, let's say she made 36, 56, 384.99 on her W-2. Federal income. These numbers are important. We want to make sure we're double checking our numbers because these numbers determine the refund amount. Okay. Let's say 3526. Now, as you can see, these numbers here auto-populate, but they auto-populate because it should match. But most of the time, they don't match the W-2. You want to go back and double check these four right here and make sure they match the W-2. Okay. If there's anything in these boxes on that W-2, you want to enter those numbers in. See box 7, box 8, box 9, box 10. You enter it in on a, let's see, dummy W-2. I'm pretty sure everybody on here knows what a W-2 looks like. But let's just look at it just because, okay? We'll be able to see. Computer freezing up on me. Excuse me. You'll be able to see here. See the numbers? Box 1, 78,000. Box 2, this is the same as what's on the return. Box 1, wages. Box 2, federal income withheld. See, federal income withheld. When you get to box 12A, you'll see this D. So when we go right here to 12A, the first line will be what? D. And then whatever that amount is for D. So see right here, D. And that amount they got is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then they got box 12B, which is C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we do is we do exactly what it say. 12B had what? C. Just for an example. Okay. If box 13 on that W-2 got a check mark, we're gonna check. But let's just say don't have a check. We're not gonna check anything. And then box 14, same thing. Box 15 is our state information. So when we get to the state, we're just copying everything that's on that W-2 for state information. If you never see anything under state income tax withheld or federal income tax withheld, go ahead and verify with your clients to make sure that W-2 is accurate because some people at their job is not taking out taxes and they don't know it. So you need to say, did you file exempt? Or do you know that there were no taxes taken out on federal or state, just so they'll know. But let's just say this person had 3647 taken out state taxes. Okay. And we click continue. We're going to double check our numbers. Boom. As you can see, we got some numbers populating over here based on the information we already entered. Okay. Based on the information we already entered. Let's say this person received a 1099 NEC. Okay. Let's say they received a 1099 NEC. I want to show a dummy NEC. I did not mean to click that. Okay. Let's look at a dummy NEC. All right. This is what an NEC looks like. You guys can see that NEC. Oh, what happened? I don't know what happened there. Okay. Ooh, trying to get over here though. There we go. It says non-employee compensation, 1099 NEC. So as you can see, same thing. We're going to duplicate everything that's on this same thing. As you notice here, number 4, they didn't have any taxes withheld on this NEC. So that taxes withheld is going to be blank, but the compensation will still be what, 56,789. So if you're over here and you're doing an NEC, you'll do the same thing. What's that payers TIN number, which is here, payers TIN number, recipient's TIN, that's most likely the social of the client, okay? And then recipient, which is your client, their information is automatically inputted, and then that compensation. If they had any federal withheld, put right there. If they have any information in box 5 or 7, which is the state information, box 5 and 7 is normally state, but this person didn't have any state. We will click that. If not, we're going to click continue. Okay. I can't click continue because I didn't put anything in there, but that's the NEC. So as you guys can see, most of everything, no matter if you're doing a 1099K, 1099 NEC, it doesn't matter. What we're doing is we're only taking information and we're duplicating the information. Okay. Now let's go a little bit into Schedule C. Schedule C is for side business, sole proprietorships, and LLCs, not corporate taxes, not S Corp, not C Corp, not nonprofits. LLC and sole proprietor, okay? Sole proprietor just simply means that they're operating their business under their social security number. If so, if they don't have a registered business, they don't have to legally, but if they did, you will fill out their information here, their EIN number, that business address, business code. You can look for the business code here, like what type of business is it? Let's just say this person has a fishing business, right? So once I click that, it automatically populates that code. But let's say they don't have a registration. They do this on the side. They do fishing lessons on the side. So we're not going to put anything here because this person don't even have a registration. They're doing it under their social because they're a sole proprietor, which is not against the law. So we're going to hit continue. And now we're going to go to the income section, okay? The income section. You can really skip questions about the operation of your business. You can really skip that and go straight to the income section. So ask your client. Remember, we have to be able to see it on receipts. We have to be able to see the information. How much did your business make? What is the total? Let's just say he made $78,383. Okay, great. Did you have to give any money back? Did you have any refunds or returns that you have to give back? If so, you'll put that there. Okay. But let's just say they say, nope, this is all I made. Let's not go that high. Let's just say $7,800. Okay. Now, next is our expenses. You don't have to do cost of goods sold. Remember, no, just go straight to expenses. You only can write off what you can prove on paper, what your client can show you. So if they had advertising, any contract labor for the year, this is that they pay anybody to do anything. Any type of commission and fees, health insurance that they're paying out of pocket, other type of insurance, mortgage interest for the business, legal and professionals. All this can be filed, guys. Ask your clients what type of expenses you have, what receipts do you have, and you can file that here. Okay, you can file that here. Once you put that information in, make sure you get copies of it. So you're going to scan those in. See right here, scan documents. If you want to add those documents into your client file, boom, you can just click scan documents when you're done with the return and scan everything in. Okay. Now, let's say that they had other expenses that's not on that list, but it was for the business. You can do as many other expenses as you can. Give a description and give an amount. Okay. And you click continue. Then let's say the expenses for business use of your home. I like the simplified method because it's super easier for clients who run their business from home and they want to file the business use of your home. On the simplified method, it's super easier. If it's not a daycare facility, click no. Okay. Now, watch these two questions because it's tricky, okay? The max that you can file for your business in your home is 300 square feet, okay? But you also need to ask your client what's the total square foot of your house that you have. And then what is the square foot where your business is held, okay? Period. Now, any income, this is something that we did not report on the Schedule C. So we already did the Schedule C and reported income and losses. We don't have to put anything here, okay? We don't have to do any carryovers, okay? I wish they removed this stuff off the screen. It don't even matter, okay? So if your client wants to get the credit for the business use of the home, that is how you will fill that out. Super simple, okay? Super simple. If you're done with that now, boom, we're done. We click continue, boom. As you notice, her amount went down. Why? Because I added this business income and she didn't pay no taxes out of this 7,800. Okay. But it has to be filed because she made the income. But let's just say I delete this income, boom. She should be back in the green. Okay. What we're gonna do is keep clicking continue, and we're gonna keep going to our next screen. Let's say they don't have any more income. Continue. Now we get to our deduction screen. This is like deductions help bring the tax amount you owe down. But remember, only what can be proved, what can be documented. Okay. So sometimes adding deductions and expenses don't do nothing for your client because they're filing standard deduction, which means they may need a lot of expenses to even hit to that standard deduction. So sometimes some stuff, if they don't make a lot of money, it really not even really going to help them. Like a person who are lower income, anything over under 80,000, really sometimes expenses don't really do anything. So let me just give you an example. Let's just say they moved for their job and they had to pay out of pocket and pack up and move. But this is based on mileage, so I'm not gonna do mileage. Let's just say personal development. Let's say they had to pay for mentorship and they had to pay $1,200. Okay. If we click continue, oh, well, wow, it's limited. Oh, this is 2024. That's why it's okay. So let's just say $300. Look over here and see, does this number change? It went up. Like it was 1843, so it went up to 1879. So not a lot of money, like 20 something dollars. Okay. So most of the time, asking these questions is great because you're also helping your client maximize money. But also remember only what they can prove. Okay. They had personal property rental taxes paid, if they had attorney fees, Olympic medals, all this type of stuff. They can really file it. It's legal to 100% file alimony, any type of thing they had to pay, student loan interest, they can file it if they can prove it. Okay, very important. But some stuff just don't. I be telling my clients it's like a couple of dollars. They like don't even worry about it because the headache to prove it, they like don't worry about it sometimes. But let's just say, let's go to itemized deductions. Let's say that they had to, some out of pocket expenses. You could use this. Let's say they had some taxes they paid for property taxes. So they received the property tax 1098 form for their property taxes. So you'll put the property tax, again, we're just copy and paste whatever's on the document. Let's say they gave money to charity. So let's say I only really use cash gifts charity. I don't really use any of these. Y'all not really. I only use cash gifts to charity. And then instead of me doing each charity name they gave, like each church, each Goodwill, I override and I put all of it in one amount. So for the total, if they gave 3,400, I just put that number there and I click continue. I do for the entire amount. I don't do the individuals. Okay. But as you guys are going through the software, you'll find what you would like to do. I'm just telling you, for me, what's easy and it's still the same amount of money. So we just enter their charitable contributions and we press continue. Now, all these other things are other great expenses that could possibly be filed. Only thing is, with my type of clientele, I really don't have clients who have gambling losses. I really don't have clients who have impairment related work expenses. But if you did, I'm telling people, like tax preparation fees, they can file it for that previous year. Safe deposit fees, investment fees, they can file it for that year. But I'm just telling you guys, go through it. Go through each item. That way you'll know what you're looking at and you will know what can be filed. Okay, now let's go to the credit section. Remember, credits bring money. The child tax credit, the earned income tax credit is automatically calculated in. We don't have to do that. But the child care credit, we have to do that. Okay. This is like foreign tax credits and they're, coming in from a foreign state. But let's go to child and dependent care credit. So let's say their child went to the daycare center and they brought you a form. Okay. Let's say this is the daycare center's information. Okay. And we click continue. And now we're going to ask, how much did you pay for the year for your child? So let's say she paid $4,200 because daycare high, guys. Let's say this is for Joshua. And for the year, she paid this company $4,200. Okay. So we're going to click continue. Okay. And then next is going to ask us a little bit more information. Okay. Right here. Did you receive dependent care benefits from your employer? Meaning, did your employer pay for your daycare? They may see how the amount went up. They may say no. Were you or your spouse unable to work due to being disabled or full-time student? No. Did you pay any care expenses for 2023 and 2024? No. Remember, yours is going to say 2024 and 2025. Just means, did any of this amount that I just filed? Wow. So they're able to get the full 600 credit. They're able to get the full 600 credit. So we're going to click continue. Okay. Boom. Now that credit is in. There's other credits as well, like the education credit. If that client went to an eligible institution, they should have a 1098T. What are we going to do? We're gonna follow the 1098T to the max. Who was it that was in school? Let's say Ashley was in school. Now we're going to fill out the information on the 1098T. Did you receive that 1098T? Yes. Does the student on the 1098T form has box 7 checked? You do yes or no. Let's just say no. Okay. Now we're going to put that information in for that school. And then, so I'm going to do it because I need to do a dummy for y'all to see. Okay. So we copying what's on the 1098T. On the 1098T, it say how many tuition was paid. So let's just say 5627 was paid. She got 1,200 in scholarships. This is on the 1098T. But other qualified expenses. So let's just say she had to pay somebody for books, transportation, lodging. Let's just say she had to pay like $8,700 in other qualified expenses. And we click next. Okay, so now we got that school in. If it's not another school, we're gonna click next again. Here's what you need to ask your client. Has the American Opportunity Credit or HOPE credit been claimed on the last 4 returns? It is a max of 4 returns. So if it's been filed before all 4 last year, then you have to put yes, and they're not going to be eligible. But let's just say no, this is their first year in school. So no. Was the student enrolled at least half the time for at least a whole academic period? Yes. Did the student complete the first 4 years of higher education before 2024? What does that mean? Higher education, high school. Yes. Did the student have a felony or drug conviction before this year? No. So then it's going to tell us which one that credit they qualify for. So they only qualify right now for what? The $2,000 lifetime learning credit. So once we click that, make sure we click that and we click continue. Now our numbers over here should go up, which it did, 44.79. Okay, 44.79. So now there are other credits, clean vehicle credit, federal tax paid on fuel, electrical vehicle credit. It's so many other credits, guys. Be careful. Just be careful. Make sure only what you can prove. If not, continue. Okay. Now, we're back where we started, right? Continue. And I know we've been having software training every week on the industry training calls, but I just want to come on just in case some people have any questions. Now, self-employment tax. When you do a Schedule C for them, it will automatically calculate their schedule their self-employment tax. But let's say they had any early distributions, any child interest dividend earnings, anything like that. And if you're not familiar with it, whatever form they give you, remember, just type the form number over here and it'll pull right up. Okay. So basically everything we doing, guys, is really data entry. Okay, it's really data entry. Then we're gonna go to our payments. So this is if they've been paying. Some people pay the IRS every year, they overpay, like other federal withholdings. They let more be taken out their check. They make payments every month. So they got a letter from the IRS showing this how much they've been paying over besides what was in their W-2. You're gonna click that. All of these are important, but if your client don't mention it, 90% of the time they're not. 90% of the time they don't have all that. Okay, they don't really have all that. Then we click next, and now we probably should be on our miscellaneous statements. Okay, so this is just some information, guys. Injured spouse, request of innocent spouse relief, married filing separate allocations, application for I-10. Now, IRS identification pin. Most people now are getting pins from the IRS. You want to make sure you put that pin in. You want to ask, do you have a pin or does your dependent have a pin? Both of those pins need to be in if they receive a pin. Right there. Boom, right there. Okay. Now, when you get to health insurance, very important. Most people who get marketplace insurance, we cannot submit their taxes will be rejected and kicked back out because they did not file their affordable health care form. So what you want to do is ask your client, do you receive Obamacare? Do you receive Medicaid? Do you receive a marketplace insurance? If they say yes, you need to wait on that 1095A form because we have to file it. If they say no, we just put no and click continue. Okay. If they said yes and they got the 1095A form, it's the same thing. We're just doing data entry, copying what's on the paper into the system. Okay. Now, state returns. States are automatically calculated based on the information we put in the federal. So, as you can see, the state right here was already populating. I don't have to go in and change anything else on the state. We are good to go. Now we're at our tax return summary. We're looking at what this is the 1040 right here, what the system has created. We see all our numbers are automatically populated for us. We don't have to do anything on our own. It is literally showing us how much our refund should be. All of her forms are filled out. It does it for us automatically. It tells us why no earned income credit was given. Why? Because her income was greater than the earned income tax limit. Okay, which is why she did not qualify for that earned income. But let's just say if she didn't make as much as she did, she definitely will have a higher return. That's why I be telling people, don't base yourself and what nobody else have is also based on the numbers. Okay, it's also based on the numbers. That's very important. Okay, when we get to the next screen, we're going to get ready for our e-filing. But first, our due diligence question should come up, but I don't think mine is going to come up because we're not in season. So mine may not come up. It may take me straight to the e-file section. Oh, it came up. Due diligence checklist. Okay, great. These are those yes or no questions I was telling y'all about. Was the taxpayer an alien for any of the year? No. Are they a qualifying child of another person? No. Meaning, will this taxpayer, your client, be filed as a child of somebody else's return? No. Did you complete this return based on the information provided to you by the taxpayer? Yes. Did you interview the taxpayer? Ask the right questions. Find out what they're eligible for. Yes. Did you review the information to determine that they're able to claim these credits? Yes. Did any information provided seems to be incorrect, incomplete, inconsistent? No. Did you satisfy the record retention requirement? What is the record retention requirement? That is you keeping documents that you rely on to determine the status. So those are the documents I was telling y'all before: the name, the ID, the driver's license, the birth certificate, social security cards, the lease, the utility statement, the 1098-T, the receipts for the business, the expenses for the business, all of that. If so, we click yes. In addition to your notes, list those documents. So you can list all the documents that you have reviewed. Did you ask them Did you ask the taxpayer whether he or she could provide documentation to substantiate the ability for these credits? Yes. Did you ask the taxpayer if the credits were disallowed or reduced in a prior year? Yes. Was any of these credits disallowed? No. Okay. Have you determined that this taxpayer is in fact eligible to claim EIC? Yes. Was the taxpayer main home in the United States for more than half the year? Yes. Is a taxpayer eligible to be claimed as a dependent on anyone else's federal tax return for the year 2024? No. Okay. Does the child live with the taxpayer? Yes. Did you explain to the taxpayer that he or she may not claim these credits if the taxpayer has not lived with the child for over a year? Yes. Did you explain to the taxpayer the rules about claiming these items for the child? Yes. Okay. Then we got our head of households questions. Have you determined that this person was unmarried? Consider unmarried? Yes. Did you certify that all these answers are true, correct, to the best of your knowledge? Yes. And then we go to next. Okay. Then we go to next. So we know they can't get the earned income credit. Now, let's do our due diligence notes. So much information as possible. Client is new. I was able to review her driver's license, social cards for her independent. She provided birth certificate for to establish relationship. Taxpayer is head of household. And I have reviewed her lease agreement. I reviewed her 1098-T for college. I reviewed her W-2 from her company. I asked taxpayer, did she have any other income? Oh, also, I reviewed the child care forms to show proof of payment. So it don't have to be long, but you have to show exactly what you reviewed. Okay? Bam. And we hit continue. That's our due diligence notes. So now we're done here and we click continue. We're going to our e-file screen. We're going to our e-file screen. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Next. Okay. All right. Now, here's our e-file screen. Okay. Very important. Our e-file screen. How does your client want their refund? Now, the bank name is always here. It's Refund Advantage. Never just click e-file or paper return. You will not get your money. You will not get your prepared's fee. It's going to always be Refund Advantage check, Refund Advantage direct deposit. Okay. It's going to be, if you want to get paid, I'm telling you, always do Refund Advantage. If you just do e-file, the bank was not going to get their check to pay you. And then I can't pay you. Or if you're watching me and you're a business owner, your preparers, you won't be able to pay your preparers if they select the wrong thing. So make sure you do Refund Advantage. Okay. So it'll say Refund Advantage paper check, Refund Advantage direct deposit. Okay. If your client wants a paper return, meaning they want to print their return and mail it in, there is still $100 filing fee that I have to charge you because you use the software to process and create their return. And because they're printing off and putting it in the mail, that means that you're going to have to wait 8 to 16 weeks. And if I were you, I'd make sure you would charge your client up front, but make sure you add an extra $100 because it will be $100 per person. Not if they file e-file. This is only if they're doing a paper print return. Okay. Now, if you're filing state, boom, always do send state through the bank. It's not showing right now because the bank is not connected, but it'll always be send state through the bank, send state through the bank, send state through the bank. Always, okay? Always, boom. And now we go next. So now let's just say we did refund advantage paper check, meaning then we can print it off here. Let's just say we did e-file, but we're doing refund advantage direct deposit. Let's just pretend like we're doing refund advantage direct deposit there too. And we go to next. Okay, we go to next. Now, error. What's the error? It's not gonna let me go. Because our thing is not here. Okay, because it's still closed. The next screen, guys, I can't get there. It won't let me get there. Oh my gosh. Okay. So the next screen is where you will put your prepare fee in. Okay, you're gonna put your prepare fee, how much you're charging your client. And then the next screen is that you're gonna have to put their driver's license information in. And then the next screen is where we will be able to send them a copy of the return electronically to review it and sign it. Once they sign it, you can come back and put the return, send to review, and then we'll send it off. Okay. January 1st will be in to see all the information, but unfortunately the system is still down because it's not tax season. But that's that. All right. Any questions on that, guys, while we're on tonight? Does anybody have any questions on that? Anybody got questions on that? Anybody? Everybody good? Okay. Being that time is so far spent, guys, what I'm gonna do is for our Thursday call, that is when I would do the 50K training, how to make $50,000 in this one tax season. So for those of you guys who are on tonight, I'm gonna post a replay in the group, and then I'll see you guys Thursday night, back here Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what we'll do is we will go in and we will do pick up for where we left off tonight and do that training. Okay. Hey, Miss Shantae, I see you're on tonight, and I guess some of you who are watching from YouTube, Miss Shantae, were you able to log into the portal? Did you log into your prepares login by chance? Let me know.
Sorry. Yes, I was.
Did they log in? Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, awesome, guys. Well, for those of you guys on YouTube, I'll see you guys Thursday. Bye, Miss Shantae. Thank you for hopping on tonight, and God bless everybody.